Welcome to another episode of ChatterBeans. Today, I'm thrilled to be sitting down with Sam Hwang, a DJ, music producer, and sports enthusiast whose story is a fascinating blend of creativity, discipline, and personal growth. In this conversation, Sam takes us through his early encounters with music, the challenges and lessons from his military service, and his journey back to Taiwan, where he's thriving in a music scene that's constantly evolving. He opens up about battling imposter syndrome, finding purpose in connecting with others, and staying grounded through discipline and adaptability. From his inspirations like Kobe Bryant's legendary work ethic to his ambitions as a touring DJ, Sam shares the highs, the lows, and everything in between. This conversation is all about creativity, energy, connection, and finding joy in the process. So let's dive in. Welcome to ChatterBeans, where every cup holds a story. I'm your host, Isaac Kong, and in this brand new podcast series, I'll be sitting down with people from all walks of life. Join me as we dive into their stories, the lessons they've learned, the memories that have shaped them, and those bits of advice they wish they could share with others.
And the surprising things you'd never guess just by looking. Every episode we'll sit, chat, and discover the extraordinary hidden in everyday lives. So grab your favorite brew and settle in. It's time for some good coffee and even better conversation here on ChatterBeans.
Sam, welcome to ChatterBeans. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just got off work. Don't complain. Life is busy and good. But
Yeah.
how are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm so pleased that we could make this happen. So we'll get into it in a second. But first of all, imagine we're in a coffee shop. What's your go-to coffee order?
Americano.
Americano, same as
Americano
me.
with the extra shot. Americano with the extra shot of espresso. Yeah.
You need the
That's what I
espresso, right? You need the caffeine.
Yeah, I like the strong coffee. Yeah, I like the strong coffee.
Nice.
Mhm.
Cool. So, yeah, Sam, tell us about you. Like, what does life look like for you right now? What do you get up to? Where are you based in the world? Like, yeah, wherever you want to take us.
Right now I'm currently back home in Taiwan, in Taipei City, and I've been working multiple jobs right now. It's been super ADHD. I have a Monday through Friday daytime job with a professional basketball team owned by a bank, and I do sponsorship marketing for them and also produce music for like the player intro, interludes. And then I DJ on the weekends. I DJ on the weekends, and I also co-produce music for James Hype and for different clients and for myself, obviously.
Yeah. And that's how we got to know each other, isn't it? Because you taught me to DJ last summer in London. So you were living there for a period of time. I came
Yeah.
along, beginner's course, and yeah, I thought you were pretty amazing. So how long have
Thanks for the
you
kind words, man.
how long have you been DJing? And like, yeah, where did that come from?
So producing and DJing, like taking it seriously for like about 7 years, well, almost 8 years now. But knowing this entire thing, it's been like 11 years actually. And it's super random, man. Like I love basketball, and there was a time in my life where I tore my ACL playing basketball. So I was rehabbing for a long time. And this was end of high school, going to college. And when I was finally able to walk again, I was shopping in New York City, and I still remember this like Fifth Avenue, 42nd Street. There's a Zara there, and I was just buying this gray hoodie. And when I was buying it, the clerk just asked me if I was a DJ in the city. And back then, I had no idea what that meant. I was like, "What is that?" She was like, "Oh, it's just people who play music for other people." And because recently we have a lot of DJs coming and buying this particular hoodie. I was like, "Cool, cool, thank you." I took the hoodie, left, and I went back home, just Googled it, and I was like, "This is interesting."
Yeah.
And that's literally it. Then I
So
bought like a
you didn't know DJing before, or you didn't like, I suppose you'd never
no,
considered it,
man,
right?
like no, because like where I come from, like I'm from Taipei City, right? Like I was fortunate enough to study abroad, but like I had no clue what this even existed up until I was like 19, 20 years old. And that kind of just a random start.
Yeah.
That's really it.
So you went home, you Googled it, and then what was next? Like, how did you throw yourself into it?
I bought I bought like this 90 US dollar, it was like virtual DJ set on Amazon, and I just downloaded a bunch of like Martin Garrix songs and like Hardwell music, and just I was just switching drops. I was just playing with stuff, learning how to beat match and watching YouTube videos. And I would just practice.
So you taught yourself.
Yeah, DJing I taught myself.
That's so cool. And you've done pretty well from it, right? So like what was that journey from Taiwan? That I met you in London. So like what happened in those years? Obviously you taught yourself, but you got very good.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. So it's always been a hobby. Like I started DJing for, in college for my fraternity parties, and
Oh
that's when
yeah.
I learned that it's something that I love. I was so bad. I was repeating all my songs for the parties. I ran out of music real
Really?
quick, but then like I know every single party, man. But then like I saw how happy that made people, and that feeling is something that you don't get elsewhere, and
Yeah.
that's when I knew I fell in love with that, and then I transferred schools to a city, to Loyola Marymount in LA because I wanted to learn how to make music. So my senior year, I was going to two schools. I was going to LMU during the day for public relations and marketing, and then at night I was going to this school called B Lab Academy and for music production.
Wow.
So I would literally drive like 3 because like LA traffic is just horrible, and I would it's like a 30-minute drive without traffic, but I would drive like an hour and a half 3 days a week to from West LA to East LA to learn music production, and it was so great. I would get there an hour early and
Yeah.
just felt like a kid with like a toy box,
Yeah, yeah.
playing with toys every day because you just learn things that would just blow your mind.
So
And
dedicated,
after
like
that,
so dedicated.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think you got it. Like I love sports, and that's kind of where I came from. I play for a basketball team, and you just gotta have discipline. Like
Yeah.
I think anything that's craft based, anything that you want to get better at, whatever your crafts is being disciplined,
Yeah, of
and training
course.
yourself.
And so you went to the US to study, and then did you make your way from to London straight after that, or like?
No, no. 2018 was when I came back home to Taiwan from LA, and I had to serve a 1 year mandatory military service. And during that year, I worked for a fire station. Actually, that's where they stationed me. So I got an EMT license, and I was helping out with ambulance work, with the fire team, whatever they needed, and honestly became really good friends with everybody. And
Yeah.
it was pretty chill, to be honest. Like I just literally worked out for 1 year and made music for 1 year. That's literally what I did.
Sounds like the dream.
Um, and in the end, I think one of the firefighters, like he's not like the ones that go out to the missions, but he works in the office, and he knew what I was doing on my computer. Like he knew Ableton for some reason. Like he plays guitar, so he
Nice.
knew the program. And then I actually ended up making a project for the Taipei City Fire Department. I made a song, made an MV for them. It's very different from the DJ music I make. It's more melodic,
Yeah.
and it's just like appreciation and dedication to all firefighters. And so that was that. And then after that, I was going to China to DJ. I had a friend who's I still keep in touch with, and
Yeah.
he's an agent in China. So I was going to China for gigs like Shanghai, Beijing, Tianjin, Shenzhen, Busan, Guangzhou, for gigs in 2019 up until COVID. And
Yes.
then when COVID happened, Taiwan was like the only place in the world that was kind of safe from it for the first year.
Yeah.
So I was doing events in Taiwan, and then obviously COVID hit a year after. Then that's when I decided to use the saved money to go study in Berlin. And I was studying audio engineering and recording engineering in Berlin. That was before London. So I was studying in Berlin, and
I don't think I knew that.
yeah, it's on.
That's
Oh,
so
actually, did I
cool.
tell you?
I think you told me
I
you
think
went to
I think I
Berlin, but
briefly mentioned it maybe, but yeah, it just broke out my experience in Europe, and I was it's eye opening, because I
yeah.
think Europe is where dance music has always existed from the beginning and is a big part of the culture, and I love that. So um, but I don't know, like I like Berlin. Don't get me wrong, it's a special place, but I kind of knew like I wanted to experience something else. So I visited my buddy in London, who I met serving the military actually, and
Really?
he's Taiwanese as well. And I immediately fell in love with the city. Like I'm not saying it's a perfect place, but I do love the city. Yeah, I do love the city. It gave me so many cool opportunities. I met people like yourself. So many great friends that came along. That obviously still keep in touch with, and that's where I spend my past 2 years, and never would trade it for anything else.
And so your last 2 years, yeah, you've been there. You've been obviously doing a lot of DJing, like clubs, things like that, and helping others to learn, right, including me. Um, why did you then make the move back to Taiwan? Because you've gone back recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I came back recently. A big part of it is for my family. Like I've been
Yeah.
away for so long, and I've missed so many years of Chinese New Year, and I don't think any of us is getting younger. That's how it works. So I think my parents are doing absolutely fine. It's just I want to spend more quality time at home as well. And I think it's actually a good place for me to reset and save some money and be able to do more. And one thing I learned is no matter where you go, if you want to put in good work and effective work, you got to have strong networks, right? And in Taiwan, in terms of the music scene, the market is quite small, and I'm fortunate enough to have strong networks here. So I've gotten opportunities right away coming back here, and almost every month now I'm playing at the most popular techno and house club here in Taipei, and just building my fan base. Really, I think that's the most important thing.
I'm really intrigued, like in the the Asia scene, because obviously in Berlin, in Europe, in London, like it's big, right? But do you think it's changing over in Asia?
Gradually changing. It's different everywhere, and I can't speak for like Japan or Korea. And I haven't been back to China in a while, but for Taiwan, it's definitely changed and progressed since 3 years ago when I left for Europe. And the culture and audience for techno has become a lot bigger, even tech house. And these are more of the more popular genres already in Europe and America, whereas in Asia it's always been about the bottle service, EDM, 3 2 1 jump, kind of music. But now it's like people want something else. So it's cool to see and be a part of the movement where the culture is building and growing back home, slowly but surely.
Definitely, definitely. Just tell us about your music for a minute, because you've got lots of tracks on Spotify. I've used them in my cycle classes, which I absolutely love. I love taking people on this journey, and I use your music sometimes. So, tell us about your process and like what it does for you.
It's very experimental, to be quite honest with you. Like I I did learn music growing up as a kid, but I never really liked it. Like I was forced to play the piano, and
Really?
I just don't do well being forced. So like I don't I learned nothing.
Yeah.
But I do. Yeah, at the end of the day, I really appreciate my parents for putting me in an environment of music, though, because um I it kind of is something that I enjoy at the end of the day. Once I learned about dance music, electronic music, I was like, oh wow, this clicks for me. Like in terms of the sounds, I just really enjoy the making of it. And the way I kind of train myself is I make a beat a day since 2017. So it's very experimental, if that makes sense. Like I'll just build an idea, normally the drums and kick and bass, and I'll just build an idea around it. And if it
Yeah,
flows, it flows. I'll finish the track. And that's literally it. So all the tracks from Spotify, SoundCloud, everything is just the best of the best from the beat of the days. Um, and sometimes I'll send, I'll be like, oh, this idea is quite cool, but I can send it to this collaborator. And I think
that's really cool.
that kind of works well, pretty well. Like for example, Mark, one of my colleagues at the school at London Sound Academy, like great collaborator. The guy's an amazing artist. Um, so yeah, that's it, man. I just kind of stick to the ones that I feel like has potential, and I finish them and release them.
I'm intrigued as to what you said about you didn't really like music when you were younger. So, like, where do you think this passion comes from? Because when I like meeting you and even chatting now, you're quite hyperactive. Like, you've got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Like, how do you? Yeah,
And
like,
this
where
is
did it
getting
come
off book.
from?
I think it was the case of, if we start from the basis of the style of music, I was around a lot of orchestral music. And I'm not saying I don't like orchestral music. It's just not like it doesn't like wow me. Um, some of it does, but not all of it. And I was around a lot of classical music, which is definitely great, and it's got a lot of expertise and just professionalism in it, but it's not like my thing. So I didn't catch on to it that much. But I think about dance music is not only the sounds and the kind of like the focus of it, which is kick and bass and a lot of these synths. It's a lot of sound design based. It sounds great to me, and I think a part of it is just going back to the example of DJing in college, is seeing how it had effect on people. And what I learned, and the people that I met in London, there are people that they save up money to go to an event. It's an important thing for them, right? It's a chance for them to let out, a chance for them to be free from their daytime jobs and have a great time. And I think for me, it's everybody, regardless of what you do and who you are, ideally you want to choose your own way to make a good impact to the world we live in. And I see this being a way, and it's the way I choose to do. So just seeing what it can do for people, and it can come in different mediums. Like for example, educating. Like I'm not gonna be honest, it's not my favorite thing to do, but like I got so much out of it.
Did
I
you?
got so much joy. I did, man. I got so many friends. I got so much joy. And seeing people like you guys happy, it made me really happy.
Yeah.
And that's so much bigger than just the music itself, but it derived from that.
Yeah.
So that definitely built into, my passion for it.
What I'm interested in was the sporting element and how you kind of fell out of that. So, like, where does that fit into your life now? You've kind of jumped into the music, but like, do you still do anything around sports, like exercise? Like, because that was clearly a big thing for you, right?
Yeah, it still is, man. I think for me, working out is like my meditation. So I go to the gym at like 6:30 every morning before the office, and it's a great way. It's a lifestyle, in my opinion. And I play basketball 2 to 3 times a week after work, and also on the weekends. Run fives. I love it. It
Do you?
gives me a natural high. I love basketball, man. And the fact, again, my daytime job now that I'm working for a professional basketball team kind of just is like full circle. I never thought I would.
I mean, yeah, how did
But
that come about? I mean, that is literally full circle. You've got like both passions there in one, right? Like,
yeah, I got lucky in a way. So this April, I went to a couple of their games, and this is a very new team in this city that it got bought by a bank. Um, and interesting enough is in 2019, I actually did a project for this bank. So before COVID, they would do a annually like VIP event in one of the biggest auditoriums in this city for the VIP clients of the bank. And I made like the intro music to their video. So that was 2019. And so I learned about the basketball team. And it's a complete new project that they're doing. Went to 2 games in this April actually, and I like it. I like the branding. It's a new team. I like the energy. I like the vibe. So I followed their Instagram, and when I came back to Taiwan, I saw that they had a couple job openings for sponsorship marketing. And I was like, I'll just apply, and I got an interview. And honestly, after the interview, I was like, they're not gonna hire me.
really?
But then like I got a phone call, and then I got an offer, so I was like, okay. So now I'm there.
That's incredible. How was the interview process for you? Because I imagine that's quite a new experience. Like you've been living
Very
in this
new.
kind of crazy world for the last few years, right? So
Yeah, very, very new, man. Like, my Chinese isn't horrible, but it's not great. So at one point, like, I ran out of words to say. I started speaking English. So I'm lucky that the general manager went to Columbia because he's really good in English.
right.
So there was something to talk about, and I just learned a lot. What the operation of a basketball team really needs, and even now, I'm still learning every day. But there's every single question possible. And mainly, I think the good thing is I kind of just like impromptu package myself to be like, okay, I did music in the past, but what can I bring to the table? I still spend time doing marketing, social media marketing, building my own brand, which I still am. I know how to think creatively, and maybe that's what they saw. So they gave me opportunity, and then yeah, so we're working right now.
I think it's such a nice combo, isn't it? Like you've got like yeah, your PR, your marketing, like you've got it all in one, plus the sport and then the music. Like what a perfect job, honestly, for you. Like it sounds quite ideal.
Wouldn't say it's perfect, but I'm grateful for it. Yeah.
So what do you like? You've done a lot, you've traveled a lot, you've lived in different countries. What's been the like biggest life lesson or bits of advice that you wish you could share? Like what have you learned about yourself, I guess?
I've learned that I'm adaptable. Like I always try to see the best out of any given situation and just try my best to make the most out of it. Um I've learned that I'm definitely a hard worker. Like I'm pretty disciplined. Um and I'm passionate, right? I'm very passion driven, and I like people. I like interacting and learning about different cultures, different people, and that's one of the biggest thing from traveling and living in different places in the world. It really humbles you. Like you just learn about a lot of different people, a lot of different cultures, and at the end of the day, we're all people. So I think that's a very important thing to me in my life. In terms of advice, like all I can say is just no matter how hard things get, because that happens for everybody, literally everybody. Whether you're a kid who comes from, I don't know, your family might be doing business in the supermarket or selling fruits, or your son or you're somebody's son who has a trust fund. No matter what, there's some kind of hardship one way or another, and the thing that you can do is by choice is to choose to be positive and be kind to other people and keep pushing through no matter what your challenge is. And whatever your goal might be, just believe and believe and believe and push through, and things will come,
I love
and
that. Yeah,
so I think
I love that.
that's something I'm doing myself. It's not easy, but I'm doing that every day.
Yeah.
Try my best to.
Have you had difficult times over any part of your life, like that really got to you, or like something that's come up in a few of the episodes that I've recorded already is imposter syndrome? Have you ever felt that, like imposter syndrome, where sometimes, like, so I sometimes feel as a fitness instructor when I'm doing my side gig that, oh, I'm just such a terrible instructor, and I get in my head about it and think there's definitely other better instructors, and I think sometimes it stops us from like trying to reach our goals or our passions or our hobbies, right? I'm just interested if you've ever had that, or like if you've had challenging times.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't come from, for example, a family that's crazy wealthy or like that has that anybody did music. And I'm from a city where electronic music is relatively behind. And sometimes it feels impossible, and
Does it?
it gets so political here, yeah, about like, oh, you play for a club, you can't play for it. It's like it's at the end there, you're like, you learn it's not about skill at all, it's not about music at all. But then like I just try to keep in hope and focus on the ones that do want to do the good work
Yeah.
and do, are for the music and for the people that is for that. So I focus on that. And in terms of like thinking that, I'm not good enough, for sure, always like there's I think there's always people who are better than us in what we do. And for me, I in one way or another, I just try to learn from it. I try my best not to like compare myself all day, because then like you can't finish comparing. Like there's literally endless cases, right? You can compare up or compare down.
Yeah,
But
it's
then I
true.
try my best to compare to myself yesterday. What did I do today that bettered me yesterday? It can actually be rest too, right? Like for
Yeah.
example, if your muscles injured or something, like you gotta then take care of your body. Like look at LeBron, like the NBA players, like they do so much pre, post, during, to take care of their body to perform at a high level. And I think every single day, every little thing matters. So that's kind of, I try to focus on the things that I can and I have control over.
So you seem quite resilient to me, but also knowing, yeah,
Yeah, builds through time. Builds through time. I think resilience is important, man.
totally,
Very
yeah.
important.
I mean, it makes us, yeah, we just get stronger, right? You learn from previous things, and like, yeah, if you can pick yourself back up sometimes when you may have been knocked, like, you can only get better. It may not seem like it in the moment, but like, definitely, and
Yeah.
that's again these conversations that I've been having as well. So it's really nice to see people just keep going with their passions, I suppose. Um, what's next for you? Like, where do you want to go? Like, what's your future goal and ambition?
My goal never changed. Like I want to be a very established touring DJ. Like I want to play Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, everywhere in a different country. Um, I think, but my next step, I think it's important to focus on the next step though. So my next step is continuing to do as good of a work I can for the professional basketball team. Produce music, continuing to get better at that every single day, and also just get as much gigs as I can here in Taipei, and really build a solid fan base. Right, it starts from my hometown, and lucky enough, I've been around a little bit, so I have people who do appreciate me for what I do, everywhere a little bit, and I want to keep building on that, because I think at the end of the day, it comes to business, and it is important for you to be able to sell tickets, and have interest, and have weight to pull. Um, so I think those are the next things I'm going to continue to focus on, continue building the brand, continue to constantly release music, and build impact.
That's cool. How often are you releasing music now?
Honestly, every couple months, like I have, well, this month I have two. So there's one that's coming out in my time today, in our time right now in
Yeah.
Asia today, but it's coming out on Argentina label. So
Ah,
for them, it's tomorrow.
that's
Well, for
cool.
them, it's my tomorrow.
Yeah.
Slight difference.
Do you know what?
And then next month,
Time zones confuse the hell out of me. Like, just
yeah, no, trust me too. After all these years. And funny enough, I'm like basically having jet lag every single week at the same country, because like every Monday through Friday, I have a very stable. routine, right? I go to bed like 10:30, 11, wake up at like 6, go to the gym, work, come back, rest, play basketball, whatever. Then weekends I'm DJing at like 2, 3,
Yeah,
4
of
a.m.
course.
So like 5 a.m. And so it's like reverse every single weekend.
Yeah.
Um, it's pretty crazy.
Mondays must be hard.
Yeah, but I just try to rest enough. I
Yeah,
think
of
that's all you
course.
need.
So by the time this comes out, your track will have been out. So what's the track called?
It's a 2-song EP. It's called Fire Inside EP. It's actually in collaboration with Frank UK, which Mark, my colleague from London Sound Academy, and it's minimal deep tech inspired, and two really really groovy and sexy records. And yeah, we really like them. So
Can't wait to hear
hope
it.
you guys like them too.
Yeah, can't wait to listen. Is there anything that people misunderstand about you from like first meeting you, or like sometimes just get the wrong impression, or yeah, anything like that?
That I'm very mad all the time. I think if I don't smile, I don't laugh, and I don't talk, I look quite cold, and I can look a little bit mean. It dep but it's just the way I look. Like, I'm not, like, mad, I'm a goofy guy.
resting bitch face.
Yeah, literally, like, my buddy, like, literally, who's the music director at Studio 9, one day we're just chilling at the patio, and he was like, "Why are you mad all the time?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm not, like,
Yeah,
I'm
literally.
not."
That's great.
No.
I love that. I love that. So, if you could have coffee with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Well, I'm actually gonna choose Kobe Bryant, RIP. Uh, I think a lot of what I do in practice comes from him and his interviews. And funny enough, he wasn't ever my favorite player because no, but I have ultimate respect for the guy. Because he shoots a lot.
Yeah.
I like team players, but I'm not saying he's not a team player though. He is in his own way because he does elevate the team.
Yeah.
But I think it's really his mentality, man. Like I will love to just talk to the guy and not even pick his brain, but just be around that energy because
Yeah.
I've never seen a guy. I mean, I've never met him in real life, but I've never in his interviews, all his games, all his highlights. I've never seen a guy that is that gifted at what he does and works as hard as he does and has the mentality of I'm gonna wake up at 4 a.m. just to practice more before practice every day for what 20 plus years. And that's why he will live on forever. Like that's something I really look up to. Like a lot of people in this world do amazing work, but one day they will be forgotten. That is a reality. But some people will be remembered, and I think he's one of them.
Does that stick with you quite a lot? Do you think about that quite?
Oh yeah,
Think about him quite
a
often?
hundred,
Yeah.
100%. Like I still watch a lot of his highlights and tapes, and it's very motivating for me. And for example, the Netflix 2008 Olympic team documentary, like his action made the whole team better. Like Carmelo Anthony is a great player too. It was like I'm not waking up at fucking 4 a.m. to practice, but like the whole team was doing that after a couple days because how are you not going to do that when the best player in the entire world is doing that himself? I
Exactly.
think that's a prime example of just you're a leader and you're just leading by doing. And
Yeah.
and I have ultimate respect for that because that is not easy to
No.
have the weight on his shoulders. And God knows what goes through his head, right? To be at that level and that
Yeah.
stage for years of life and practice that every single day.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, actually.
A lot of pressure. And I think there's a handful of people who does love the pressure, but whether you like it or not, you have to deal with it too, and it's not easy to do that at all. So I got a lot of respect.
I really get the sense from you there. And knowing you, like, obviously we've spent a bit of time together, like in person in London, and just your energy, like all the time. And you're very positive. Um, so I think that really comes through. And yeah, I love that. I think it's great. So, quick fire round. What's the first thing you do in the morning?
Jim. Well, technically, I eat my breakfast, which is just yogurt and blueberries and some fruits. And I drink a lot of water. I drink a lot of water in the morning
Do you start with the
after I
water?
brush.
After
After I brush my teeth. I start with water, yes, because I try my best to get 7 hours of sleep to 8 hours a day, and you're not drinking water for 7 8 hours, right? And your body's we are made of water, so I just drink a lot of water.
What's your favorite place that you visited and why?
London. I think for me, it's literally, it's not a city. It's a little world, in my opinion. Like, you just have people from literally all over the world gathered together. You have so much history. You have so much modernism as well. You have so much variety, whether it comes from food or art or business or opportunities. You know, I've gone insane opportunities in the city. I've made friends from almost every country. Like, it's crazy, and you just got a little bit of everything, and you feel so free. Like, everybody is just minding their own business, you know, in a way, and I love that. And I think I'm a little biased because I got to live there, right? I didn't just visit for a couple of days. Like, if I only visited for a couple of days, I think it's beautiful and stuff, but I don't think I would have a strong feeling like this.
And I think you've really got to see a side of London that a lot of people wouldn't get to see. You've got to see the daytime, the nightlife, like you really threw yourself in, I guess, and met people from all different backgrounds, because we don't really talk about it actually, but you helping people learn to DJ, like, and you teaching them to DJ, like, you must have met a lot of different people.
Yeah, people like yourself. You're literally a professional fitness instructor who wants to better your game at this craft for your class. For your client, I think that's hella cool. I've met parents bringing in 5-year-old Lithuanian girls. Like, I'm like explaining record box to her. It's like she's just like smiling the entire time. I'm like, how? Okay.
How?
I've met like this 57-year-old business owner, successful business owners. Like, I just want to teach my daughter how to DJ one day. I'm like, that's amazing. You know,
That's
it's just
really
like,
cool.
and then you have kids who are like insanely talented, like who's doing great in London right now. Like, it's just, I love it. Like, yeah. And I met people from China, people from Taiwan, actually. Everybody, man. Like, it's
so cool.
It's great.
Yeah, it's so cool. This might not apply to you because I don't know if you get a day off, but what's your favorite way to spend a day off?
Oh no, I do get a day off. My favorite way to spend a day off is actually just trying new food. I love to eat. I love to eat.
I've seen your Instagram.
So much. Trying new food. If I spend time with my family, my friends, going to like nature, man. Like, I love hiking. Like, Taiwan has just amazing scenery, hot springs, playing basketball. It's just chill stuff. And then stretching and the foam thing that you roll on your feet. It's just, you gotta take care of your body, you know? Like,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Such a
man,
wholesome life.
No. I try my best.
Yeah,
I try
definitely.
my best. Yeah.
If you could time travel, would you go forwards or backwards?
I don't think
Or
I
would you not?
be.
Or would you not want to?
That's a great question, man. Like, I think I would. Okay, I'd be lying if I say I didn't want to do that completely. Because I think a part of me, and maybe this is the same for a lot of people, is there are times that you miss in your life. There are times that you probably don't miss, but there are times that you miss. And if I could, I probably want to experience that again. Sometimes I want to travel in the future because I'm like, I just want things to come. But at the end of the day, I want to be present, because that's literally the biggest gift. That's why they call it the present, right? Like, I'm working for what I want in the future by experiencing what I have in the past. So that's the present, you know? Like, yeah, I'm just thankful that I have the present.
That's amazing. I love that answer. What's the weirdest thing you've Googled recently?
What's the weirdest thing I Google? Oh, yo, I've been looking up on just like literally exits of MRT stations in our city. I mean, I wouldn't say that's weird, but like, that's like, I wouldn't do that normally. And the reason behind that is because part of my job is doing sponsorship marketing. So I'm looking for ways to kind of promote our team and work with the city and promote the city as well, to like go hand in hand. So I'm just looking for places where like maybe we can talk to the city about like, oh, you guys can promote stuff that's going around the city in our end games, but we can kind of put on our end and MRT station exits. And
I love that, because that is quite a weird thing to Google, but it all makes sense and you have a reason for it. So I love it. Final question. If your life was a movie, what would the title be?
This Is Living? No, that's a horrible title.
No one knows how to answer this. It's hilarious.
Oh, I'm not creative like this. Wow, that's a great question, man. Sam's Diary. I don't know.
Sam's
I don't know. Sam's Diary. No.
Sam's
I
mind.
think I probably leave it to a professional. My answers are already 2 for 2 are horrible, so
I love it.
leave
I
that
love
to
it.
if anybody ever wants to film a movie of my life.
I've really enjoyed our conversation. It's been
Me too, man.
it's whizzed by actually, and I'm really just I loved getting to know you a little bit more. Like I know a bit about you, and I just think it's great to see where that energy comes from. And now a lot of it makes sense, I think. So I'm intrigued, like where you're going to go next. Where can people connect with you, find out more about you, your music, and see what happens for you?
Yeah, man. I'm on social media like Instagram and YouTube. Oh, mostly Instagram really, and it's at Shaw Tunes, SHAW and then Tunes. And I'm on in terms of music platforms, I'm on Spotify and SoundCloud, Bandcamp. I'm very active in Taipei City with my DJ gigs. I have one next weekend, and then end of the month in December, I have the 28th, and I have 2 gigs on New Year's Eve. And then mostly Instagram. Yeah, if anybody's interested, just follow me, hit me up on Instagram. I try my best to respond to everybody.
Well, we'll link to it definitely in the episode description as well, so people can find you. Thank you so much for chatting with me today on ChatterBeans. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for tuning in to ChatterBeans. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. If you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And for more behind the scenes moments, guest updates, and a peek into the world of ChatterBeans, follow us on Instagram at chatter.beans. Until next time, grab a coffee, sit back, and let's keep chatting.